Bailey. What's your butt? Look. Good girl. Always a good girl. We're live. We're live. You like the hat? I didn't knock the thing off tonight, right on. Time is it? Is it time? Okay. What's up? Oh, wait a minute. Bailey, you want to come over here? You can. Come here. Come on, Nora Cakes. Come on. Get it. Not there. All right. Any kisses? No. Okay. No. Oh, there's my girl. She gave me a kiss on Facebook TV. Give me another one. Okay. That's enough. Now get down. Thank you. Kisses. Ooh, thank you, dear. What's up? Can you hear me? Hey. It's funny, on the wave over here, y'all are over there. Web audio, guys? Kevin has a lot of responsibilities. All I gotta do is write it and show up. Yes, okay. Let's get on with it. Thanks, guys. All right. Welcome to the third installment of Stop The Spinning Overwhelm Christmas Edition. I'm Billie Jo, Personal Life Balance Coach. If you haven't seen them, you can catch the replays of the first two live streams. The first was about honoring your personal values with your Christmas traditions, and the second was about the Life Balance Wheel Christmasified, or what do you really want for Christmas? Thank you for joining me. Hey, girl. Tonight we're having a boundary conversation. This is important because there are families that put the fun in dysfunctional, and sometimes we make choices like overgiving, overbuying, overdoing, overindulging. Like I said, I am a personal life balance coach. If you need to heal to get better, I urge you to seek counseling, therapy, or a mental health professional. If you want to get great at something, get a coach. I wanted to get great at boundaries, so I have had a boundaries coach. I have a quote here from Brené Brown, whom I love. The most compassionate people are the most boundaried. No comments for me. Kevin never plugs in his phone. Anyway, I'm a very literal person, so a definition. A boundary is a limit or space between you and the other person. A clear place where you begin and the other person ends. The purpose of setting healthy boundaries is, of course, to protect and take good care of you. I have rules, basic boundary rules, listed on the wall, the very important bulletin board with all of my pinned up notes and my 90-day goals list. And the boundary basics are: it is not my job to fix others, to take responsibility for others, to anticipate the needs of others. It is my job to make me happy. I have a right to my own feelings. It is okay if others get angry. It is okay to say no. It is okay to be me. Who needs to know what your boundaries are? You do. If you don't know, how can anyone else? You are not a mind reader, and neither are they. If you cannot understand your boundaries, you can't expect others to. Tune into your feelings. First, to implement boundaries, you have to know what they are. A clue to that is what ticks you off. What leads to family feuds, hurt feelings, passive-aggressive silence, burning resentment, or the big blow-up. You have to name your boundaries. Say what you mean what you say. Try not to say it mean. One of the most important things for me in the workplace, in relationships, in any human transaction is clear expectations. It is my responsibility also then to make my expectations clear. My favorite people are always the ones that I don't have to guess what they're thinking. The responsibility we put on others is too great if we aren't clear about our boundaries. The responsibility that we give them that isn't theirs is too much. You are responsible for maintaining your boundaries. The best you can do is to show up for yourself. Be consistent. Name your limits. Be direct. Give yourself permission. Love yourself. Be yourself. Most people are generally not trying to dance all over your boundaries. They want to respect them. If you send confusing, inconsistent messages, you may still become resentful, and that person may be unintentionally treading on your boundaries or misreading your signals. One of the greatest things that I have learned in my boundary work has been this: I am allowed to make mistakes. I am allowed to be imperfect. It's okay, huh? No, I didn't know that before, not really. I am a work in progress. I learn new things every day. Flip that. Other people are allowed to make mistakes. They also are imperfect. I allow for reparations, forgiveness, and I give grace. So I, too, am allowed to try again, to say what I mean, to clarify my needs and my desires. Boundaries are about congruence with those values. They let good things in and keep bad things out. If you aren't perfect at this, give yourself a break. Recognize that it is okay to not be perfect and keep trying. You can make shifts in valuing yourself, connecting with yourself. You can improve at self-love, which shows up in how you spend your time, your money, your energy, and your thoughts. Asking for what you need can be difficult. Sometimes it seems easier just to let it slide, to remain silent, letting resentment settle in. But this is lack of self-love. We must take ownership, not assume victim stance. We must take responsibility for our own feelings and reactions. It is your thoughts, your reaction to an external stimulus, your experience of your situation that creates your emotions. Let me say that again. It is your thoughts, your reaction to an external stimulus, your experience of your situation that creates your emotions. Your mind is a control freak. It's the judge. It tells your story, your personal story. Your mind is there to keep you safe. And if it perceives danger, you go all fight or flight, right? But what if the danger isn't real? What if you change your perspective? You are not your fear. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You can observe them, talk about them. You can judge them, good or bad. You can control them. You can also reinterpret them based on new information. You've changed your mind before, right? I have been silent in my own life. I was afraid of the very real consequences to speaking up, speaking out. What I've learned is that it was my desire to control the outcome. We can't control the outcome. We can only control the process. Controlling the process is to live with empowerment, in authenticity, and in truth. I know, my dogs are pretty chill. I have the best couch dogs in the whole wide world. If it takes all of your energy to give all to those who need from you, you are an overgiver. We like to think of ourselves as just very nice. We're so generous. Mother Earth and all that. But when you look at it from the point of view that you are overgiving, you are giving out of your own need. If you do it for long enough, the resentment sets in. Even if someone is grateful, if you are giving from need, they can never be grateful enough. They are not the one who has to fill that hole that you are trying to fill. That can only come from you. Only self-love can fill you up. It can be painful to face that. If you're doing it for adoration, welcome Judy. If you're doing it for adoration so that they can say nice things about you, think you're amazing, check the degree to which you're doing those things. Work on that relationship with yourself. You need to think you're amazing, simply because you're human, because you're alive. Doing things for others gives us positive feedback. It feels good. And those feel-good receptors love that. But if it goes on and on and on and on, it runs us dry. How do we achieve real balance? You can challenge yourself to notice what is happening. How much, where, and with whom do you overgive? You can commit to creating more balance. You can say no. To live in truthful, authentic connection, have real expectations. We can focus on how we can prepare the best we can for that family get-together, for the shopping trip, for the whole holiday season. We can recognize it is what it is. We can have more boundary conversations, even with ourselves. We can decide to enjoy the moment, just what it is, in the moment, mindfully. Expectations can set us up for disappointment when reality doesn't meet it. You can say to yourself, if you're going to a family get-together that will be dramatic, I know that there will be drama, but I won't let it ruin the celebration. And try to prepare yourself with healthy boundary conversations. Allow for the fun in dysfunctional. Also, very unrealistic expectations that it's going to be really swell, or things are never going to get any better. Complete pessimism and despair, both are unrealistic. You can take responsibility for what you can control and have realistic expectations around all of it. If you are exchanging gifts and going broke with any and all of them out of expectation, Make a change in the situation. You can decide. Where can you do something different? Add more self-care. Now, commit to doing something every day that is specifically and only for you, for your care. Whatever it is. Do something nice for yourself. Say no. To change what happens, change your mind. A healthy boundary helps to protect and respect you. An unhealthy boundary seeks to control or harm someone else. Start here. Love myself where I am, asking for what I need. Not overgiving, overdoing. From the last live stream, when I did my wheel one time, I left fun out. I think that's telling. It was only recently that it occurred to me that I'm allowed to just because I like it. I can do what I want. The fun part of the wheel is the part that nourishes our soul, sustains us in a way. You cannot pour from an empty cup. When I have joy, it will overflow. When I have time to do the things that I enjoy. God doesn't want us to just toil away at life and ignore all the joy and beauty and fun. He wants us to enjoy the life He's given us. Boundaries are protecting good, so I drew a box. I labeled it important. The things that I put in that box take precedence. I don't know if you can see it. What goes in it? I decide. One of the things that is in my box is writing. When I talk about it, I light up. When I'm not doing it, I am a lesser person of myself. I would ask each of you to draw a box. It can be a plain box. It can be an ornate box. If you like doing arts and crafts, you can cut and paste and glue and have fun with it. But make a box and label it. Important. Very, very important. Label it. Absolutely necessary. What goes in it? You decide. This is mine. I have writing in it. As far as Christmas goes, I can decide what goes in it. My Christmas boundaries. If there are family functions, there's not too much drama. But if there were, I could decide. Set my expectations at a realistic level. Understand that this is just what it is. Give myself a break for the imperfection. Yes, my dogs are very boundaried. Bailey and I have boundary conversations on a regular basis. Did you guys know that my dogs talk? Okay. Boundaries. Bailey's very boundaried. So what?
The boundaries are the bed.
The boundaries are the bed, yeah, pretty much. Let's see. Thanks for all your help there, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Do I know my boundaries? That's one of the comments. Do I know my boundaries? It's an ongoing process determining what they are. Obviously, they can change in any circumstance, any situation, in the workplace, out in public, in your relationships. Okay. In tiny little human transactions. And it's hard sometimes to ask for what you need. An example. Kevin has been speaking with somebody about getting wood. And they brought some out. It wasn't great wood. And it wasn't enough for what we paid for it. So, handling that transaction with boundaries, what would you say? How would you handle that? You know, determining what your boundaries are. Really look at where do the resentments start to burn? Where does it start to sit? When do you get silent and withdrawn? You know, what causes the big blow up? Where does that come from? What are those boundaries? Ah, thank you, Amanda. Yeah, Heidi Geyer. Hey, Mo. I truly want to encourage you all. Commit to doing something nice for yourself, no matter what it is. Making sure that you have drawn the box and included in it that which is necessary to fill your cup. Especially if you're a caring nurturer, an overgiver, anything like that. Dave's boundaries are not talking before. I have a coffee boundary too. It's true. You cannot expect me to think first thing in the morning. It's just the way that it is. Huh?
That's why you watch my videos.
That, yeah. So, you guys have anything you want to talk about? I threw my stuff. What other boundaries? Coffee boundaries are a real thing. They really are. That's I'm not a good waker-upper. I come stumbling out of the bedroom, hit the bathroom, come out here, find a cup of coffee. Oftentimes, Kevin will have a cup ready for me, which is very, very sweet. What about holiday boundaries? What kind of boundaries do you guys have for the holidays? Good job, Judy. She'll draw her box. It's going like that. Autofocus, huh? I wonder if it's a setting I can turn off.
We're going to work on that.
Right on. All right. I want to encourage anybody who wants to have more boundary conversations, just contact me if you want to. It'd be my gift. If it's something that you're not comfortable with in particular, something you've never done before, sometimes we're only a conversation away from clarity. Carol, not sure what I would put in my box. That which... How I put things in my box. Without it, I am a lesser person of myself. I don't know how else to explain that one. That's what goes in the very, very important box. Writing is one of them. Communication, I mean, it's all related. Values, the wheel, boundaries, what's in the box. writing and communication, love, Christmas boundaries are all financial. That's fine. They can be really financial boundaries. I have very boundaried financial Christmas also. Those are healthy boundaries to put in there. I think throughout my lifetime, I have exceeded those boundaries, and putting them in place and sticking to them is a very healthy thing to do. And family boundaries are a must sometimes, yep. You know, giving them too much responsibility, too many rights, and too much responsibility is not good for a relationship. I got a new job recently, and when I was thinking about leaving the last job, I was having a conversation with my mother, and she said, well, why don't you just go do this? Okay. And that's what I ended up doing. And when I made that decision to quit that job and go over here, she said, oh my gosh. And I said, no, Mom, it's not your responsibility that I determined what I was going to do. I'm taking that responsibility from you. It is my responsibility. So if it goes badly, it's not on you. I don't ever take time for myself or anything like that. LOL. I don't like coffee, and my day is going as soon as I open my eyes non-stop. Are you a morning person? Ooh, I couldn't do that. I have designed my life pretty much so that I don't have to get up and go first thing in the morning. I could do it, but I don't want to. I know I'm not a good waker-upper. How about tea? Do you like tea? Another thing that people recommend first thing in the morning is some quiet meditation. That's a good time if you have just a moment to do a little bit of Bible reading or reflection or communication. I always have to try to squeeze people in, and it makes it like a madhouse. Yeah, that's interesting. He says, I have to always try and squeeze people in, and it makes it like a madhouse. Some family members get jealous over who sees each other first. I think there's some boundaries that could be put in place there. I think while you don't have to explain your boundaries necessarily to anybody, okay? You don't have to. But you can be open and honest about them. Folks, I want to have a quiet Christmas get-together. It's hard, though, when you have to exclude people. And jealousy is part of the fun and dysfunctional. Sure, yeah. Family get-togethers. How to deal with family falling out. The best that you can. That's where you have those conversations about expectations. And prepare yourself, if you must, with words to say ahead of time. When my son was growing up, I always used to give him dialogue that he could say so that he would have it if he needed it in any situation. You know, and you can't cover all the bases, but having the dialogue ahead of time in your head and saying, you know, okay, if it comes to this, I can say that. Practicing it even. And doing the best that you can with it. I have the most problem with boundaries on my time during the holidays. When you only go home a few weeks a year, you get stretched thin, absolutely. Boundaries are really important when you're stretched. Um, that's where taking time for yourself and being very honest about what you can do, setting your limits, and oh my goodness, yes, Bailey's setting her limits there. What? What? She's usually very quiet. What's up? You right there? Who are you talking to, Mama? Right. Okay. Time is a big one. Self-love and how you spend your time. If you don't want to really give it, don't give it. The spinning overwhelm to me, it's a visual. I wish I could draw. I can't, but I wish I could. It's so very Dr. Seussy in my head, and I wish I could get it out so other people could see what it looks like. During my hardest parts of my life, married with children, full-time job, house to run, especially at the holidays, stretched, very, very thin, yes. I always felt like I was being pulled like one of those stretchy dolls, filled with corn syrup. Or we used to have an octopus, had 8 legs, and you just stretch and stretch till it froze and then it broke. But the spinning overwhelm to me is the stretchy. Everybody's expectations and the expectations that we place on ourselves to meet other people's expectations, whether they're verbalized or not. The shoulds that we do on ourselves. I wore a lot of hats. Mother, wife, employee, daughter, stacked on my head, all at the same time. And my hands were full with all my plates, which were very, very full. I had full plates, taking care of all the things that were important in my life. Kevin's described them also as glass balls. He doesn't want to drop any of his glass balls that he's juggling. So full plates on the hands that are full, stacked on top of each other because there's so much going on. And throwing a glass ball, how do you stack that up? That spinning overwhelm feeling. And, okay, so you've got the stacked hats and the stacked plates and the stretching, and it's spinning like a ride because life is in motion. It's constantly going and changing and moving, and it's going to go without you, even if you're not deciding what's really important to you and where to spend your time, your energy, your money, your love, your thoughts. Handmade gifts, absolutely, are a very, very good way to put a boundary on that financial and just spending time with one another, yeah. Okay, good tea and hot chocolate. You have to be a morning person. I have to be a morning person. Well, goodness. Noisy. You're very silent most of the time. I don't see anything. You alright? Okay. Have to be a morning person. Have to be a morning person. Have to be a morning person. I would take a look at that and see if it's actually true. Otherwise, I run out of time. Days can be long. That's true. We all have a lot to put into them. The reality of that statement, though, take a look at it. Take a look at it close. Let's see. It's always been a problem with my mother and father's split. Yep. When I was a kid, like it's said before in one of those, our Christmas morning tradition was to do our Christmas in the morning and then go to one grandmother's house and then go to the other grandmother's house because the two couldn't, to this day, there's that in our family too. I think most people have some of that. But you just balance the best you can. You weigh it and you do the best that you can. Good job. Daily devotions. Yeah, Billy dog too. Ah, yes, they have a new baby. Puts more wood into the fire, to say the least. Yes, absolutely. I could see how that would add some difficulty. You know, setting firm boundaries when you have children, especially boundaries with your family. Oh, goodness. We were talking so nice about you. Oh, but, setting those boundaries, especially when you have children, you're their advocate. And, who else is going to advocate for them but their parents, necessarily, you know? Sometimes that's the role that you have to take. And, you know, if you have a new baby, things have changed. Maybe you want to do things differently than you have before. Setting boundaries, being clear about your why, and, you know, telling people, hey, this is what I'm doing, and this is why. So that I can fill this need for myself instead of doing what we've always done. Yeah, she doesn't usually talk like that. She sings sometimes. She definitely is a singer. Yeah, I don't know what she was looking at either, but alright. Guys, I appreciate your time so much. I am so glad you all came with me tonight. I love you, and I want to thank you. I do believe we're going to give this another whack. Today is Monday. So let's do another one. Friday. Friday sounds good. I'm not sure what it is yet, but if you come back, you'll find out. 6 o'clock seems like a really good time. So we'll do it again there. If you have more comments, we'll keep talking to you in the comments. I want to thank you again for coming, and come again.